our choice is not to go to the United Nations and ask for a recognition of the state of Palestine. Our choice is that such a Palestinian state should come as a direct result of negotiations with the state of Israel. This is really our choice. And until this moment, it is our choice. Until this moment, it's our choice. And it will continue to be our choice until September 2011. We are not going to declare unilaterally a Palestinian state. We are not going to do so. What happens that if we reach September 2011, then it will be clear, not to us, but to the international community, that the Israeli leadership is not interested in achieving peace with the Palestinians through negotiations, and then the international community will be the one who will take this issue to the United Nations. We have heard the French foreign minister just 2 days ago talking about time to recognize the Palestinian state. We have heard the British permanent representative in the Security Council when he spoke on behalf of Germany and France and spoke about our readiness for a Palestinian state before September 2011. What I'm trying to say that, it's not going to be us who will go to the United Nations. It will be the international community who will go to the United Nations and say it is overdue. Right now, we should come to recognize a Palestinian state. And then, of course, it will happen this way. Now, how this will materialize, I agree. Yes, we'll have difficulties. If Israel won't really recognize this, then we will get into another level of relationship with Israel. It's not anymore that, it is a disputed territory. It's not anymore Israel occupying. It will be Israel occupying the territory of another state of the United Nations. And then, the whole discussion will go into a different level. This is very clear. Now, should we go to the Security Council? Well, it depends, how France, Britain, Russia, China, Brazil, Argentina, and so many other countries will decide to take it. To the Security Council, probably, if not, to the United Nations, to the General Assembly. And they will hold a meeting under the title United for Peace. And it will have the same power as the Security Council in terms of, giving such recognition to the Palestinian state. We will see how things will go. But until September, we are saying our preference, our choice, our priority is that, we will get an independent state as a result of direct negotiations with Israel. This is really our position. Yes, of course, we have a problem that, we cannot keep that division to exist for a long time between Gaza and the West Bank. And obviously, we cannot expect Hamas to take the initiative in order to initiate rapprochement between, Fatah and Hamas and between West Bank and Gaza. It should be done by Abu Mazen, This is really the case. And so Abu Mazen have decided, to take this initiative. This is not the first initiative that he has taken. He has sent delegations to meet with Hamas leaders in Gaza, in Damascus, in order to persuade them, to put their signature on the Egyptian document, etc. But the influence of Iran has kept them away from putting their signature on the Egyptian document. Now what the president is saying, well, I will forget about the Egyptian document. I will go to Gaza as the president of the Palestinian Authority. I will go to Gaza, and I'm not going to talk about dialogue, negotiation, etc. with Hamas. I will speak only about forming a government that will prepare in 6 months' time for presidential and parliamentary elections. And in 6 months' time, whoever will win will be in power both in West Bank and in Gaza. This is really a very practical kind of approach. How I read it, it's a win-win situation. Unfortunately, so far, the reactions that we have got from the Hamas side, like Mohammed Nazzal from the Politburo and others, are very discouraging. They ridiculed, the whole issue, and how I read it and how I described it, previously. Hamas believes that they are better off waiting until the Muslim Brotherhood will take over in Egypt. And so why to compromise with the Palestinian Authority about Gaza now? Much better to wait for 6 months and to see the outcome of the elections. And if the Muslim Brotherhood will win, then, you don't need Abu Mazen or anybody else's. This is really how I read, their position. And that's why I don't expect that they will take any kind of positive reaction towards that initiative that Abu Mazen has made. But still, Abu Mazen believes, yes, we should really reunite Gaza to the rest of the Palestinian territories. It's very important to end the division. It's very important to convince Hamas to become part of the Palestinian political mainstream. It's very important that Hamas should really accept, being part of that process, because, Hamas is a force that, that enjoys, certain support. Now, Hamas believes that if elections will take place, they will lose. They will lose not only control, but also they will lose majority, and that's why they are totally against the whole perception of elections. They believe that elections are for, to be held only once. The moment that they take power, they forget about elections anymore. I think this is really a problem that we have to deal with. But at the same time, we are very much worried about, the increasing influence of Iran on the decision-making processes within Hamas leadership. And this is really something that, we have to keep working in order to distract Hamas out of from Iran influence and, trying to convince them how to become, a moderate element like many other Muslim Brotherhood elements that, in the region. Regarding Geneva Accords, I remember the Palestinian Authority has sent important representatives to participate and to attend the Geneva negotiations and the discussions. So this is really a very explicit kind of recognition of that process. If Geneva Accords are to be implemented, I think, we won't have any problem at all. Right of return. Look, President Mahmoud Abbas, if you have the chance to meet with him and also even to interview him, and if you are interested, we could really work it out. And if you listen to him about it, he says that if you read exactly what it was said in the Arab Peace Initiative, in terms when it refers to the refugee issue, it says that, negotiated, agreed upon solution to the refugee problem. Negotiated with whom? The Palestinians themselves, with the Israeli side. Agreed upon, between the two sides. So whatever we agree with Israel over this issue, it will be implemented. This is really what it says. And if you read the memoir of Olmert, he says very clearly that when they were discussing this issue, they were talking about, symbolic numbers in order really only to reflect that there is symbolic numbers that could really come back under different naming and different really titles. But, we are aware that, any big number that could really come into Israel will be detrimental from a demographic point of view to the state of Israel. And I don't think that the Palestinian official position today is really to work against that, but to work with Israel in order really to make any solution feasible and possible for the two sides.